And then I'm going to say, I'm going to hit record so that if you still consent, you can say yes again.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yay. Right on. So if you could start by telling me just what's going on with you, what you're trying to build, what the revolution is doing for you, what Marie's doing for you. Just tell me your story. What's up?
Yeah, so I know you know a little bit of my story about how I kind of got here. It was just like I just needed another job so bad, and I stumbled into the revolution and had my interview with Marie, and immediately afterwards asked my boyfriend to pinch me because it felt so unreal. And I am
Can you give me a
still
quick reminder, just for the recording, what it was before?
yeah, so during the interview, like everything, Marie was saying about what she wanted to do for me immediately from jump, because, I felt kind of when she asked what I wanted to do, if I wanted to stay with the company, build my own, I felt like she was kind of pushing me towards, saying what I actually wanted to do. Whereas, you don't want to tell someone you're interviewing with that you want to start a company that is almost competing with theirs.
Right.
But I did tell her, I wanted to start a marketing agency in some form or another. And she was like, cool, let me help you. And I was like, what is happening? And like to this day, I still feel like I
It's a
need to ask
trick.
somebody to pinch me because I'm just like always so blown away by, everything that's being done for me. And all the help I'm getting and the support. It's seriously like nothing I've ever had before.
Have you ever had a mentoring relationship before?
Um, not really, to be honest. I'd kind of looked for it, and I knew I needed a mentor, but I had always looked at like, getting courses and mentorship from people who I'd seen like on social media who'd done the same thing. But it just like with all the information out there, it's like you really don't know who to pick because it's so easy to fake success on social media. That's like, I don't want to pay for a course or mentorship from someone like and find that, I know just about as much as they do.
You just had it
So
online first.
yeah, so it was really hard to, try and, figure out who I was going to trust with something that is really like not to be taken lightly.
It's hard to find people who are acting in good faith.
Hmm. Exactly.
So what has it been like so far? So from the interview and the pinching, um, what has the process been for you? How are you? Just tell me more of your story.
So, Marie put me in sales class, and I was just like, wow, I'm learning a great deal from sales class, and I was loving it, but I was like, I feel like I can't really apply this quite yet. Like I can apply it, during work and stuff and, in interactions, but I felt like there's no business for me to apply it to. I hadn't started anything. A lot of people in sales class, they already have their businesses and I have nothing. So I, finally was able to get on my one-on-one call with Marie, and she kind of helped set me up with, what to do about contracts for my business, a name, branding. And I had originally started another Instagram account to secure a name for my business that I no longer want to use because it was cute, but like even Marie was like, that's just not you. And she actually looked at my regular Instagram page, which outside of work, like just kind of for fun, I do modeling.
Okay.
And she was like, you've been building this brand. Like, let's use that because I wanted to do social media management for like brands that are in like kind of an effeminate space, like, clothing brands, things like that. And I also wanted to do influencer management. because I worked with an influencer before and I really enjoyed it. And I know that there's a lot of money in it, to be quite frank. And she was like, she kind of set up the pathway because it was like, I didn't know like what my first steps to take were. So she kind of helped set up that path to point me in the right direction of things I needed to do to get everything actually set up, as a business, and get my knowledge running, because she was like, that's a lot to do at once, so let's focus on the influencer thing first, because it's really unique, and the influencer space is kind of it's kind of new. It's expected to grow to like several billion-dollar industry in the next couple of years, and there are like a couple of influencer agencies and things like that, but generally speaking, it is still very new, and there's a huge opportunity to get in that space right now.
You could
So
get in and get established and grounded in that space. It has unlimited potential.
yes, yes, essentially. And especially with like, I feel like influencers like kind of years ago were just, it was just like celebrities, but now it's, coming into view for people that, anyone can be an influencer. So people are really starting to take it seriously, and a lot of people are growing there. So
Mhm.
it's like like I said, I have a very unique opportunity now to get in there and, help people grow their own like influencing businesses.
That's so cool. So how much time have you actually spent with Marie one-on-one on this? And like 10 hours, 1 hour, and how far do you think you've come because of that time?
So we've so far only done one-on-one call. So it was like a little over an hour. But even just in that hour, I feel like mentally I've come leaps and bounds, because I had a vision that needed to be refined. I feel like the vision is very refined now, and just I feel like I have a sense of direction now, and I know what I need to do, where I need to head, and that's extremely valuable, because without that, I don't have the framework to even start this business.
Right. Have there been any, because of the revolution, have there been any kind of changes in your mindset about how you want to grow the business? And I'm curious. I'm not like fill in the blank. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Really, oh, excuse me, I'm still
Bless
getting
you.
over COVID, so um, I would say generally I have kind of had a good mindset for the whole thing, but I feel like I needed like a little bit of confirmation,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, I know I'm good at what I do, but we all get a little bit of imposter syndrome here and there, and just along the way, Marie has constantly reminded me um how talented I am, and that is so like that's so valuable, because you can't do something if you don't believe in yourself first.
Right.
I feel like I had that belief, but kind of deep down it was like, but can I really do this?
Right.
So it's just given me this, confirmed sense of, you got this.
Awesome. One of the great things about that is that it becomes with the mentoring, it can become like very generational, but with chosen family, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes,
And
totally.
like you can get tapped into Marie's network, her knowledge base, all of that stuff. How do you what what question should I ask you next? What do you want people to know about this?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Thanks.
Um, yeah, that's a really good question, because, this is kind of like a off the side tangent, but I before I moved to Texas and before I, really jumped into my marketing career, I was a horseback riding coach.
Mhm.
And I rode horses for like my whole life. And when I started coaching, that was kind of one of the first things I ever did where it was like, wow, okay, I'm really good at this.
Right.
And I had like never felt that feeling before. And I had this feeling of, I'm good at this and I'm not scared to let people know. And it was hard because my age, honestly, most coaches in that field are like at least mid 30s. So when I came here and tried to find a job doing coaching,
Oh, but
I
you were an infant.
yeah, I told the lady who was, looking to hire me, I was like, like I'm young, but I know what I'm doing. I'm good at this. And she was like, okay, whatever. And she watched me ride and watched me coach. And I could sense that immediately she wanted me.
Recognized it in you.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. But the all that is just to say that I knew that like teaching or coaching in some form, I enjoyed it so, so, so much. Um, and like even in just like my personal relationships with my friend, like since being around Marie and stuff, one of my best friends, she is like super brilliant mind, and just kind of figuring out where she wants to go. And she's a bit younger than me, so I've kind of taken some of that, and we have weekly accountability meetings now where we kind of just hold each other accountable to our goals for the week. And I've been helping her get on track for her desired like career path,
Mhm.
because I find that I'm very like, let's go, and she gets stuck in like analysis paralysis. I'm like, I know nothing, but let's just freaking do it.
Yeah.
So
Let's
I
fail.
I've right, exactly. I've like, in the past couple years really been like, I want to be a teacher or a coach in some form down the road, and just being around Marie and just the revolution has really like kind of solidified that for me, that somewhere down the road I want to do what she's doing, because
Mhm.
I know how valuable this is for me. And I know how it feels to watch your students fail, 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 and then get it and have that
Right.
light bulb moment. And to have that on a much larger scale is, especially like in something versus like riding a horse, to something like owning a business or forging your own way in your career.
Creating something out of nothing.
Yeah, that is like an incredible feeling on both ends. So I really, it's shown me that that's a path I really want to head down. That was supposed to be like a super short tangent.
When I had my tech business, it was really funny because some days I'd be like, also, I'm Rumpelstiltskin. I had straw and now I have gold. That is the coolest freaking thing. I had a
Yeah.
thought and now I can pay my mortgage
And
because
that's
I did some stuff I did a lot of stuff in the direction of that thought. Like it's a powerful thing.
and that's something that I really like pride myself on, because I feel like even though my business isn't even off the ground yet, but I so pride myself in, me and Marie have very similar stories, her coming to Chicago.
Mhm.
I told her, when I came to Texas, I had one rental car that I had to cram everything I'd ever owned in. I had to pick and choose, what things I wanted to keep. And I crammed everything in the rental car, and I moved to Texas with $37.
Oh my God.
So, and it was an insanely stressful point of my life. But once you're out of something, you're able to look back on it, and it wasn't as bad looking back on it, maybe. So I look back on it very fondly, and I'm like, very proud that even though my business isn't even off the ground yet, but I already feel like I'm building something so incredible and exciting when I literally truly had nothing.
Mhm. Yeah, I get that.
So I guess what I God, this is so like hard to get at. I guess what I want people to know about this um is that one of my goals is like, I know I said there are already a few, there are actually a great deal of influencer agencies already, and I don't know quite yet how mine is going to be different,
Mhm.
but I know that I want it to be different. I know I want it to be pioneering and just something that hasn't been done before. And it hit me in our one-on-one call. I was like, oh my God, this is going to take a really long time. And I'm like so bad with instant gratification. Like,
Mhm.
I am always on my phone, always on social media as a social media manager. So I'm kind of used to that
Right.
instant gratification, always, getting that hit of dopamine, especially as someone with ADHD. That's what my brain is hardwired to look for. So having
Or,
to slow down and understand this is going to take a long time and not all of it is going to be fun and exciting and inventive. Like, that's hard.
yeah.
But the fact that I'm still excited for it, I think says a lot. I don't know what all I was getting at with there, but I hope it gave you something to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. So where do you see, do you have any numbers I can report? Like you've been working on it for X long before Marie. Now you think you can have it launched in X months, years. Like, would that just all, do you have any numbers or would that just be making stuff up?
Um, so for the past like 5-ish months, I
Mhm.
was just doing generic research, making content because I said that I was going to start a separate account for it. And I had like 2 months worth of content ready to go.
Mhm.
And now I'm like, well, this doesn't fit like my personal brand, which is what we decided we're going to use. So I have to throw all of this content out essentially.
Hmm.
Which is not an exciting feeling, but at the same time, I almost feel more excited because I feel purposeful.
Mhm.
And I know that I'm going to get to use something I enjoy, like my modeling, to which I've been working on for the last couple of years, um, on and off. I'm going to get to use that to show off my expertise. And that is like so exciting. So for the past like month ish, I've just been working on gathering up different people to watch and keep an eye on and different people to reach out to and be like, hey, let me pick your brain or let me shadow you just so I can kind of learn more about the sphere and what they're actually doing. Because there are certain like aspects of influencer marketing that I don't yet have the full rounded out understanding of what to do. But I'm hoping to, get my LLC established like by March,
Nice.
which is like really exciting. I don't know if that's even a realistic goal. I have no idea. But, I'm obviously going to have the opportunity to adjust that as I move forward. But just knowing that it's in sight and that it's going to happen this year,
Mhm.
because I've been meaning to get my LLC for a while, but I felt like there was no real reason to quite yet. But the fact that it's like in sight is even just that is insane to me. And
Yeah.
I'm super pumped about. I have a really great feeling about this year. I think a lot of people do. I think this is going to be, our year for quite a lot of us,
Mhm.
which is insanely exciting.
Totally. Yeah, I started my LLC, um, gosh, in 2002 when I started my tech company. And yeah, it was a big deal. It was a lot of work. It's a lot easier now because a lot of that shit's online now.
Right, right.
Not as much going and standing in line at the Secretary of State's office as there used to be. But yeah, that's very exciting. I'm very excited for you. When Marie told me what was going on, I was just super into it, super exciting. It's like I feel like people are kind of in their magic place when they're being who they needed, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, that's why I'm going to law school in May. I'm starting
Ah,
law school in May.
it's so
And
close.
I know I'm flipping out. I'm a fall student, but they have a summer class that starts at the end of May. And it's great because you can take one law school class and learn the skills that you'll need in law school,
Mhm.
without it being an immediate full load. And then you can, when I go to fall, after having completed the summer course, the successful completion of that allows you to take the fall semester with one less class so that it's still not a full load, but you've got the skills that you've already started working on. And so it gets you a more ramped up and grounded start into law school, which is great
Oh
because
my gosh.
I'm nervous about all of it.
That is so exciting. I'm
Thank you.
I'm like so pumped to see, how the road opens up before you, because I know that, you have a great sense of purpose going into this. And that just makes all the difference. So I am insanely excited to see, how this pans out for you.
Thank you. And I love seeing Marie doing the mentoring because so much of this she's toughed out on her own for the last many years, and but she's also had really great mentors who came and who helped her. And it's like a good mentor can save you years of time,
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
and it's like you're going to make your own mistakes, but maybe you won't make the ones that Marie made, and that'll save you some time, and
Yeah,
some money and some. It's
I'm
like make cool new mistakes, not old mistakes.
right, right. I'm really pumped about it. And it's really nice to see her, you know, I feel like she's just as excited as I am. And
Yeah.
that's everything, and I feel like, and maybe this is a little speculation here, but I feel like, a lot of like I said, a lot of people in sales class, they already have their businesses established. And I know she, is so good and so excited about helping them, but part of me feels like as a mentor, helping someone grow from the ground up after you've already done it, that's got to be exciting. I know I would be excited. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just an amazing feeling all around.
And I think it's her putting work and energy into creating the world that she wants. Like it doesn't have to be cutthroat. It doesn't have to be so many things that it is.
Right. And it's like I had kind of, before I came in here, I had kind of heard about and explored the idea of that, just through social media. I feel like a lot of people like in my generation are kind of leaning into that idea of community over competition. And it's so beautiful to see someone else understand that and really, I mean, really take that to heart. Because oh my God, when I told her, I was like, I want to start a marketing agency. During that interview, in my head, I was like, I'm not getting this job.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Why did you say that?
Because
It was
I
a trap.
right. So yeah, it's just I can't even put into words how exciting and authentic and raw it all is, honestly.
Mhm. What was your expectations before sales class and afterward? Like what did you think it would be and what was it?
I knew that I was going to, because I had done the sales hackathon. So I knew it was going to be very in depth and I was going to learn a lot about sales, but I was like, all right, I'm going to learn about sales. And that was, the expectation that I had. But usually when you think something like that, it's kind of like, this might be a little boring. And it hasn't been that one bit. I'm surprised. I'm very spiritual. I'm a little bit into all the woo woo. And one of our classes, we were talking about the power of trusting your intuition. And to be able to go, instead of just being like, this is how you close a sale, wah, 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 to be able to talk about truly every single aspect of it it says so much to me. It makes it so exciting. It's not boring. Even I told my mom about it. I was like, yeah, I'm in a sales class now. And she's like, oh, that's good. You need to learn sales. But it was very much like, that general idea anyone gets from like, oh, I'm in a sales class. I'm learning how to sell. But like, no, you really are learning like almost the psychology behind it. And I feel like people have this idea of what salespeople are.
Right.
And it's quite literally like learning to be the opposite of that.
Right.
And
She's like, sales is a spiritual path. And it's like, what?
right. And it's like, I've had some sales jobs before and I felt like I wasn't very good at it. And, they coached us, but now I'm learning through sales class that, wow, they were horrible at this too.
Well, it's like in the sales class, and I've done a ton of sales classes, especially back when I had my business. It was like how to desensitize yourself to being coercive and awful at customers.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yes,
oh, what if we
exactly.
didn't do any of that?
And I love the idea. I feel like Marie really leans into the idea of if this person, if you find in this conversation that this person is not a good fit, going either direction for them or for you, then it's just not a good fit. And if you're in any other sales environment, that doesn't matter.
Right.
All that matters is closing.
If it doesn't fit, get a bigger hammer.
Exactly. So it's very important, especially when you're selling a service, you're selling something so personal.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not a good fit, move on.
It's so much better to have that integrity and a good relationship with the prospect, and then they turn into a referral partner or not. It's just better to not be putting out that grossness.
Yes, so much of that.
The more the culture changes away from that nastiness and that hard close and all of that things, it'll just, a lot of things will get better. And I do think you're right. I do think the younger generation is far more communal minded, and that is a thing of beauty.
Yes, I'm super super excited about that. And uh a lot of this, it's so crazy. A lot of this stuff that I'm seeing that has given me these observations is on TikTok, because it's such a raw platform. Everything on Instagram is like super curated and like you
Right.
have to be perfect. And I'm finding that TikTok is very authentic and like people are tired of the bullshit
Yeah.
essentially. So it's so funny. Marie, when I told her this, I think I actually mentioned this maybe on our one-on-one, and I thought she was going to give me a look like, oh my God. But she was like, that's amazing. We have to use that as part of your story, is because I told her, I was like, do you know how I got into this career path? She was like, how? I was like, I saw a TikTok video about someone being a social media manager, and I just started watching all these videos. And so I like to joke that TikTok gave me my career.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
and I just like I totally tripped and stumbled and fell into it,
Mhm.
and I'm in love with it. I think that's insane.
That's amazing. My, I got in, I first got into IT when I was 20, and I absolutely stumbled into it. I mean, it was the 90s tech bubble, and everybody was hiring anybody who could look at a computer to be in tech. Um, because all of a sudden we had an internet, and that was like a thing. So we my roommate worked in the tech world, and he's like, just get the job. You're smart. We need people, just get in the industry and figure it out. And I was in that industry for 17 years. No, 13 years, 13 years. And yeah, it was because I cared and I was willing to help people and figure stuff out. And I'm clever, you know? And I was like, and it's really helped me be like, oh, it's only a skill. I've learned million, hundreds of thousands of whatever skills. I can do this and I care. And this appeals to me, and you got to do what you care about.
Yes. I'm really, speaking of IT, that was one of the things that I like, wanted to go into, because I know that there's a lot of money into it. And like,
Mhm.
I feel like now that I've found something, I want to be wealthy. Who doesn't? But I'm seeking purpose alongside of it now. But IT was one of those things that I wanted to go into because I feel like it's an ever growing field. Um, but it's really exciting because my little brother, actually, I know we've talked about him before. He found this like coding course that goes for six
Awesome.
weeks in New York. And I think, he's going to do that after he graduates. And like, he like has never had any, he was never one of those kids that knew what he wanted to be when he grew up. So it's exciting to see him, maybe, and even if he hates it, whatever, but to see him find something that he, wants to pursue.
Mhm.
So freaking awesome.
You know what? It's fine if he hates it. I used to be so stressed out about that stuff, but now it's like, you know what? You learned a new way to think, you had a new experience, and that will fold in to make the thing you want. You can't, if you don't expose yourself to new ways of thinking, new industries, new people, it's really easy to keep not knowing. And
And
sometimes
that's,
what you know is it's definitely not that.
yes, and that's what I told him. He was
And
like,
that's valuable.
his biggest worry is like, my family doesn't really travel, so he's really like never like even been that much to our small city, which is 30 minutes away from them. So he's like super scared about getting lost in New York. But I told him, I was like, just do it, go. And I told him the exact same thing. If you hate it, you'll be 18 years old. Like you have so much time, so much opportunity to just basically F around and figure out what you do like.
And a coding class is productive effing around.
Yes, yes. So I'm really excited because I told him, I was like, if you do like it,
Great.
you make a good amount of money. So
Yeah. And
I'm
or you can work like something adjacent to it where it's like you're not doing the coding, but you get the coding. And one of the reasons why I was successful in IT is that I wasn't the most brilliant technician, but I was a great project manager because I was a good enough tech to be able to understand the principles and create things and then make people make it happen. And
okay.
so just speaking that language and understanding the processes is really helpful
I
and
so love that.
and is its own skill set. I used to tell people that I had a geek to English dictionary because it was like I can, it's like I can make them do work. I was really good at that. They all had this we were all playing Warcraft 2 back in the day, and we had this peer-to-peer network that ran on CDs for the game. It was hilarious. And I started taking away their CD so that they couldn't play their games, so that they had to do their jobs. And honestly, that got our turnaround time on work orders from like 7 days to an hour and a half.
Oh my gosh. I love this idea of just like kind of stumbling in to things that you end up loving to do and are really talented at, because I feel like for so long, just as a country, we've touted go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a job, work until you die, or work
Right.
until you retire. um and I feel like,
Thanks, Protestants.
right, I feel like as a generation, and even not just my generation, I feel like we're really coming out of this idea of that's not going to work for everyone.
And you
We're all just
guys,
kind of stumbling and bumbling around until we figure out what we like and what we want to do.
we're all just people. And I mean, your generation and the generation right before, right, the one that's just like right over you, has seen like how many economic crashes and the pandemic. And so you guys were born into much more of a culture of starting over and figuring it out and finding yourself and making it happen no matter what.
I never thought of it that way, but it's so true. And that's one of the things that I love about working here, is because I feel like they understand that idea. And I also, with all the economic crashes and, just everything like we've seen,
Mhm.
people, the whole touting the idea of, the security of having a degree. And there are people, I've seen job listings that make way less than me that require degrees. And I feel like nowadays the idea of job security is bullshit. There's no
It's
security. They'll get rid of you tomorrow and they don't care.
Security doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I mean, it does in some things, but not in a late stage capitalism society.
exactly.
It's,
Exactly.
you know, it's not a thing anymore. And anybody promising that, I think, is delusional
Yeah.
or lying on purpose, deceitful or delusional, or both. And because I think we all have such lived experience to the contrary of that.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean,
100%.
um, do you, if you don't mind, I'd like to wrap it up. Is there anything that you said that you don't want me writing about?
Mm,
Boundaries.
not that I can think of, honestly. I'm I'm
Okay.
I'm pretty much an open book.
All right. Um, and is there anything else that you could think about that you want to say?
Um, no, I guess just, reiterating the idea that I feel like I'm dreaming still, that I've found something so incredible that I'm so excited about.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I can't wait to write this up.
I can't wait to see it. I don't know if I'm part of the newsletter. I'm gonna go right after this and sign up on the website just to make sure, because
Awesome. Yeah, do it.
I need to see this and everything else like it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Susie.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All
Okay.
right.